Introduce yourself.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? TK McNeil here, 2022 Del Mar Fair Tough Trucks. I got the old 1450 here, and hoping to give these guys a run for their money this year. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, I feel like the pressure is kind of on a little bit. Last time I ran this was at the Del Mar Fair, and we got 5 years in a row. I think I won it from 2011 or 2012 to 2017. And that's kind of hard. It feels like the competition is always steep, and it's always fun. You know, it's always the brothers that give me a run for my money, and so we'll see how it goes. It's always fun just to come out here with the family, and we always spend the time at the beach afterwards. So just fun to get a little off-roading in and cruise a couple laps around here at the fair, and then kind of hang out and have a little family trip here.
We've been doing this for like almost 20 years, isn't that right, TK?
Yeah, I think the first time I won here, open class in 2004 or 2005, I think. And yeah, so it's been doing this since 2003 or 2. So we're probably 10 years strong. I'm about 10 years strong. I've missed a couple years here and there. Raced an Explorer one time, pancaked Explorer one time, trying to keep up with and trying to win. And yeah, had to have some mistakes here, but it also had a lot of success.
All right, so this is a pretty unique Ford Ranger. Tell us about what's going on and why it's special.
Yeah, this is what I drove to school every day when I was 16 years old. I got it as just a little 4.0 Ranger. My brother had it as just a mild build, and I bought it with him. And after, I don't know, owning it for 4 or 5 months, the thing fell apart because it was just a mild pre-runner. So after like 6 months, I had to throw it in the garage, and was just a little garage built in high school. And yeah, so it's evolved. I've had to rebuild it probably 3 or 4 different times, and made it a center drive probably about, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago, maybe a little more. And so yeah, a little Ford Ranger. Most everything I've probably built, I don't know, 99% of everything on it. So it's not it's kind of just a little garage fab, old school build, 1450. You know.
What's involved in converting from a regular right-hand or left-hand drive to a center drive?
I kind of got that obviously because everybody knows Pistol Pete, you know, and I rode with him at a Parker in a trophy truck race a long time ago, and I always thought the idea was kind of cool, you know. But this thing you get so many modifications to it. It wasn't too hard. The biggest thing is I pushed the motor back just a foot, so that made it. It's easy for me to drive, but I'm a small dude, and when I get let my brothers drive it, it's hard to fit their big old seat, their big old butt in that seat.
So where's the edge of the motor, the back of the motor here?
Yeah, back of the motor is all the way back, almost to the steering wheel. So it's back over here. It barely clears my knees. You know, I'm driving it. The corner of the head is right at my knees. So it gets hot there for sure. That's right where the exhaust is.
Is that the throttle?
That's your throttle right there. It's throttle on the right side and brake on the left, the old Pistol Pete style. So you definitely have your feet wide. If I was going to do any long races, I don't think I would be able to handle it. More than a Prim or a Laughlin, it gets tiring, you know.
And you've done pretty well at those desert races with this truck.
Yeah. I usually just go for fun, and I don't really go for points or anything. It's either I win or you break usually. And so yeah, we've had a decent amount of success and a lot of breaks and a lot of damage, but always having fun. That's the most part. I mean, I don't really have anybody that sponsored me other than my brother, so there's nobody out there to go through other than just having fun. And you know, it's not having fun when you're racing just to finish. You always race to win, and I've always had that mentality, which isn't necessarily maybe the correct one, but it's always a lot of fun.
Tell us about the motor package and what you're running in here.
It's had several different motor packages. I've blown a lot of motors in this thing. Probably gone through a dozen motors in this thing. Right now, it's probably a little overkill. Probably shouldn't even put this thing in here, but it's a Leon Patton 440 8-stack motor, which is way overkill for this thing. And you know, that's why I haven't really done any desert races since I've put it together. Need to kind of get it all dialed in beforehand rather than just thrashing to get to the next race and you know, having issues. So it's got a lot of power for sure, the most it's ever had. I've usually always had just a normal 351 stroke to a 408 Ford motor, and I got my opportunity with my hands on this thing, and a lot of work to swap it all over, which if I went back I'd probably never do it again. It's probably too much power for this thing, for the little garage fab 1450 truck, but I've had it to the dunes 4 or 5 times. It's a lot of fun. lot of power, and you know, I don't even know where I'd race it or who I'd race against. I mean, the 1450 guys, I feel like almost wouldn't, you know, wouldn't have a chance with this thing, but we'll see.
Let's do a quick walk around and show us about the other parts of the truck.
Sure. Yeah, it's all pretty much garage fab. I got a big Crispin rear end. It's all old school. Big old 40 jumbo spline axles. Back in my high school days, I've probably snapped those 31 spline Curry axles. I've snapped a couple dozen of those back in my day. Had a lot of problems with the 9-inch rear end. Always on a budget, so that was a lot of our failures on braking, was a diff. It's got yeah, just all garage fab. Got a lot of work done to it, which back in the day I always had a lot of time and never be able to do it now.
So what size fuel cell are you running?
It's just got a 32-inch, 32-gallon in the back, and capacities that, you know, won't get me very far. So
and
actually has a front fuel cell too that I'm just probably going to eventually remove. I had that in my other setup. I actually had 2 fuel cells just because I didn't want to spend the $4,000 or $5,000 to buy one big one. And so eventually that would probably be one of the next changes on this thing, is get rid of that cell and then put one big, huge cell for this thing. With the big motor, you have to have something bigger. Right now, you'd probably barely be able to do a Laughlin or a Prim, which, yeah.
So 2 big tranny coolers, oil coolers, big radiator in the back.
Yeah.
Does that keep this big motor cool? Or I guess
Barely. Yeah, barely.
Guess we're gonna find out, huh?
Just barely cool, and most all that's garage fab beams. I fabbed all that stuff up in my garage back in the day. The beams had snapped before, and I patched them up, band-aided them up, and kind of just kept going, you know. But yeah, we're ready to have some fun today.
All right, TK, you're the one to beat out here. It looks like
yeah,
you got maybe one of the best records at San Diego Tough Trucks.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Wish us luck today, and hopefully we'll be able to get it up there.
You got it, man. Thanks.